Hey everyone, my name is Adam Needens, and this is my Module 13 case study for EDL 853, when a student's rights are wronged. So we'll start off with the basic case facts that we have gathered thus far, or what we could gather based on the information we were given. We have a high school student paralyzed from the waist down during a football game. Certain classrooms in our building are not handicap accessible to meet his needs now that he is in a wheelchair. A class that he is needing for college is now not available to him at this time, and because of this reason, parents brought in an attorney to meet with myself based on this student's needs not being met. So we're going to look at the people involved. We have Miguel Hernandez as the student involved, who was the football player injured and now paralyzed from the waist down. His parents, both Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, they have their attorney, who is Howard Carey, and Miss Gussman and myself. The young man was paralyzed on the football field during a football game. He has been now cleared by a physician to return to school. This child will be in a wheelchair now. Parents stated in visiting with them, we've had people talking to them, and they stated that he needed handicap accessibility, but no other accommodations were going to be necessary. His mental state was as it was before. So basically what we're looking at is a 504 plan for his accommodations of the wheelchair. A biology class, is not handicap accessible to Miguel right now. The classroom that class is normally in is not going to be handicap accessible for him, and therefore we have a problem. Ms. Gussman moved him into another science class, took him out of the biology course, and put him into a different science class, thinking, well, he just needs a science credit. His parents are wanting him to further his education and go on to college, and it seems like Miguel is wanting to do that as well, and he is wanting to take this biology class to continue on for college credit. The parents and attorney are now in my office. Legal and ethical issues. Miguel being taken out of a college credit class because of the room not being wheelchair accessible for him has brought on an issue now qualifying for 504, the IDEA, and the ADA. And under those laws, he has the right to a free and public education that is going to meet his needs. And if his needs are such, then that's what our job is to do. There was, however, no intentional harm, it seemed, or harassment in this case. I don't think any teacher or Ms. Gussman in this situation, by changing his schedule, was maliciously trying to harm Miguel or hinder his education in any form. She thought she was probably doing, giving a best case scenario for him in that situation and going with what we were able to do with our building the way it is at this time. We need documents. I need documents, a 504 plan set up for him, and we're going to have to get parent signatures to go along with this. As we communicate and go through this, it seemed like there was none of these taken care of throughout this step. There was obviously a verbal conversation with Miguel needing the wheelchair, and that was all that was going to be needed for him. So we needed to provide handicap accessible classrooms. That's obviously not being met, but it didn't appear to be any IEP, 504 plan, anything following along with those policies set up and in place. And it didn't appear that there was a discussion and signatures to go along with the family members providing for his services at that time. So that's something that we'll need to get taken care of. So overall, basically from the information that we have, here's what we're looking at right now. Miguel Hernandez was paralyzed from the waist down and has been cleared by a medical physician to return to his regular education classes, but is needing wheelchair accessibility, and his college credit biology class is not so. Miss Gussman moved him into a different non-college credit science course. That's our overall view of what we have thus far. Here's some of the facts that we have, what's known and what's unknown as of right now. So we're going to look at three categories of people, place, and program. The people involved: Miguel Hernandez, who is our student in this situation, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, his parents, Ms. Gussman, the Hernandez's attorney, Howard Carey, and myself. The place that we have our information happening here, or collecting our data from, Nottingham High School in Dover. The building that we're in, the high school building, is a 1950s building, not completely up to handicap accessible codes throughout. 1/4 of our building remains as constructed in the 50s and is not up to proper code. All schools in our district, from grade school to the middle school to the high school, funnel into our 3,200 student high school, one high school. We have a great community here, great community involvement, great student participation, parents involved. There's a lot of families wanting their kids going to our school district. So there is an overall great sense of pride about what we have going on here within our community and with our school system. The program that's in place, we have a public high school. It is offering general education and special education. Are more focused on our biology class that's not accessible right now, and handicap accessibility is needed for access to this class and obviously others, being as 1/4 of our building remains perhaps not up to code. As we continue on, we're going to prioritize our data and the information that we have so far. The situation could cause conflict among our staff, students, parents, and the community. If you want to look in depth here and go beyond Miguel and his family here, I don't want to shortchange them, but you have to look at the broad spectrum on stuff like this and realize that this situation is going to affect a whole bunch of people. How do we handle this situation? So what do we do after this case? So we might be able to solve this case, but how is this getting solved further down the road? Are there going to be community members, other parents upset about how this is handled or what we do or don't do after the fact here? Who do we have here? So we have the Hernandez family, Miss Gussman, Mr. Carey, and myself involved as of right now. People being consulted on this issue. Who has and who has not yet? Well, the people mentioned have obviously been consulted. I myself would probably need to talk to a few more people on this case. There might be a one-on-one conversation needed with Ms. Gussman about why she chose to do what she did, and maybe address that with the staff, then how we handle those situations when something like that arises in our building. More information from all of our parties is obviously would be beneficial in this case, because it just seems like we're not getting all the information. We have quite a bit of information, but we're not getting everybody's side of the story here. Not enough information has been gathered. Handicap accessibility is a must by the state and federal guidelines, however. So that is something we do know is what we have to take care of. So what can I do in this situation? We got some options here. One being take no action, let the situation play out, see how it unfolds. Two, get the attorney for the district involved and kind of go attorney versus attorney and see how that plays out. 3, give in to the requests and the accommodations so that there are no legal issues and the parents and student are as happy as can be based on the situation that we have here. Or 4, communicate with everybody involved and see what we need to do and where we can go from here to best serve everyone in this situation now and in the future. Let's evaluate those options that we ran through. So the first option could possibly lead to a lawsuit if we do nothing. No one ends up winning in the long run, obviously. The school's going to get hurt, the community, staff members, myself, everybody involved in this. It's just not going to unfold well. Number 2, let's build a case why our school is right in this situation versus maybe why we're not being held liable in this situation. This does seem unprofessional to me at this point in time. I don't think that's needed at this point in time. I think we can handle this situation a little better at the stage of this situation that we're at right now. Building a case why our school is not liable right now, I don't think is a viable one. I don't think that's going to hold up because there obviously are the IDEA and ADA standards that we have to meet, and we're simply not. Number 3, it might satisfy the Hernandez side of the case, but maybe doesn't solve anything for the long term, and we want to solve it for now and for the future. It's not going to help morale with the staff or the community if we're not solving this issue, and it's going to pop up again. We want to, on number 4, have an open communication, a dialogue, where everyone can tell their side of the story, why, what's going on, how we feel about things. Then hopefully we can work together, reach an agreement for right now, and then a solution that will benefit our overall vision and our mission of our school district. So the decision I'm having to make here in this situation, I'm going to choose option 4 that we just discussed. I want to have more communication on the topic with everyone involved to see why decisions were made and discuss how we can fix these issues going forward. The school obviously needs to be handicap accessible, and Miguel must have access to the classes that he's wanting to take. This is about resolving this issue without a lawsuit and getting Miguel properly accommodated for his wheelchair and for the future classes that he's wanting to take. This is also about getting our vision and our mission on the right track, because obviously our building is not up to that code and where we need to be as a district or as a building on that. So how do I implement this decision? I'm going to kind of read this word for word a little bit here. In this case, my decision is to first gather as much information as to why what happened transpired. The school must have handicap and wheelchair accessible classrooms, and the building must be up to code, as it is currently not 100% to that point. Hopefully by having a conversation with the Hernandezes, we can smooth this out without having any more legal teams involved or any more legal issues. We are in the wrong, and we are not up to the IDEA standards. There's no 504 plans being met here, so we need to make these changes to our school, and that's exactly what's going to happen. These 504 plans need to be written out. They need to be it doesn't even seem to be amended, because I don't think they're in place at this point. So we need to have them in place, have parent permission, signature, and go over and make sure everybody's on the same page of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So moving forward here, construction will have to take place in the area of the school that's needed to be updated, which some minor adjustments can be made by moving rooms to room for Miguel's classes and to make his schedule fit the way we need it to, or for him to make those accommodations as of right now for the rest of the school year. Then during a break, probably during summer, most likely, the rest of the building is going to need to be renovated at that point and brought up to code, as we do have the 1950s building. Some of those classrooms are not to where they need to be. This change isn't like a quick fix and we're going to be done with something. That's not the point of this whole thing. Yes, we want to accommodate Miguel and we want to keep him on the right track, but this is something that there's going to be adjustments needed to be made for the long run right here. So adjustments can be made to accommodate Miguel this year, yes, but something will need to be in place for the long-term success of our district to hopefully make our high school a more welcoming place for everybody involved. General education, special education, anybody that's needing to meet those IEP 504 plans or anything going forward. This is just something that's going to make everybody involved probably a lot happier, is what I would say. So that was my case study for EDL 853. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your time.